Welcome back to a special members-only episode of Bigfoot Society. A special thank you to the members that are supporting Bigfoot Society, and I hope you enjoy this episode. It's all about a young lady back in the mid-1970s who stumbled onto a hippie commune and got more than she bargained for with the Sasquatch that lived nearby. It's an incredible episode. In fact, I wouldn't be able to put this whole thing up on YouTube due to some of the content. I mean, it's wild. If you want to hear the whole thing, you can become a supporting member, patreon.com/the Bigfoot Society, or hit join second tier on YouTube. All right, Bigfoot Society, I've got the privilege of talking to LaDema tonight. She reached out to me about some really interesting things that she experienced around the Sixes River area of Oregon a little while ago. But LaDema, so glad to talk to you tonight. How are things going?
Good. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And it sounds like it's a very interesting story. I'm going to let you go ahead and launch right into it and share what you would like regarding this story.
Okay. I was about 18, and I met a girl that knew some people that lived on this 80-acre property right off Sixes River Road on a commune. And I was I was really interested in what that would be like, and had nothing going on in my life. I lived in Las Vegas, and she was passing through. And so I hooked up with her, and we hitchhiked from Las Vegas up to Sixes River, Oregon. And when we got up there, we stopped at a house that was up there, and immediately they started talking about Bigfoot and their experiences with Bigfoot, and all kinds of tales. Like they were telling me about how they were outside in the bushes or trees over on the left side of their house, which the house is still there. Trees have grown up, but the trees started moving and stuff, and their dog, a large lab, started barking and ran into the bushes, whatever it was, which from what I've seen, that's not normal for the animals, but this one did. And whatever it was, threw the dog out of the bushes, out of the trees or bushes. And so that was one of their tales that they told. My friend that night, because it was kind of like dusk, it was getting dark, went across the street with their little girl to the river. There was like a sandbar over there, and came back screaming because they felt the ground shaking, and come back screaming into the house, "Bigfoot, it's Bigfoot." About that time, I was like, okay, because I don't think I really heard anything about Bigfoot too much at that point until I got up there. We stayed there that night, kind of talking and stuff to these people, and I was getting to know them and stuff. And then, of course, they were looking at me like, "Oh, city girl," up here in the mountains, wanting to experience everything. They knew I was in for a big treat. But
what year is this, LaDema?
1976.
Wow. Okay,
about
cool.
1976. There was hardly anybody that lived on Sixes River Road. Hardly anybody. Now, there was some construction going on. I think they were building the campgrounds, Sixes River campgrounds, and the Edison Recreation campgrounds right there. It wasn't even built yet. No houses. One person lived on the river side of the road, a man, a hippie guy that had lived there for a while. He had an A-framed house on that side of the river or the road. But other than that, he was the only one that was on that side of the road, on the river side of the road at that time. And then the 80 acres, there was maybe about 5 or 6 people. They had goats. Everything was natural. There was no sugar, no tobacco, no nothing. Everything was grown up there, and it was a real commune. And I guess some lady had 80 acres there and let these hippies, live there. And so in the morning, we were told that the cabin that we were going to stay in, which was across the river, had been burnt down by the construction people who were getting rid of all the homesteaders at that time, and that we had to go further up into the mountain to stay in this other cabin up there. And of course, I'm like, I have no idea what I'm in for or anything. And so we get escorted up the road like a mile past everybody, and across the river. We crossed the river on big boulders that were there. I looked and looked and looked up the river recently, and they're not there no more. I think there was a couple of them, but yeah, I couldn't find where we had crossed the river to go up about a half a mile up the mountain. And to go up the mountain was like a trail. I'm assuming now that it was an animal trail of some sort. We had to cross over a big tree that had fallen across a ravine, and the top of the trees were at the bottom of this fallen tree. So we had to walk across this tree, and it had moss on it and stuff. I actually think I belly crawled across it the first time because I was afraid. I mean, yeah. So anyway, we got to the cabin. The cabin was hand built. It was maybe, the walls were maybe about not even 6 foot tall, maybe 5 foot tall all the way around. It was built up against a big tree. There was a big piece of plastic that was the roof. And there was a barrel that they made for a stove of some sort. It was kind of hidden up there. You used kerosene for light and stuff. There was some books and stuff. They had hand-built a couple of, like a bunk bed there, and the refrigerator was a hole in the ground underneath the bunk bed, the bottom bed. So it was pretty primitive. And then you walk down to the river to take a bath. It was real primitive.
Please take a minute to help out the show by subscribing on YouTube, making sure you hit the bell so you don't miss any notifications, and share the episode on YouTube with a friend. Also, if you're listening to us on a podcast, thank you so much. Make sure that you're subscribed, share the show with a friend. Really, it's all about sharing the show wherever you can. If you've had a Bigfoot encounter related to the following or know someone who has, please reach out to me at bigfootsociety@gmail.com or pass on my email. Here's the list. All right, I'm going to use this space this week to announce that I'll be at the Sasquatch Summerfest in Oak Ridge, Oregon as an attender. I won't be presenting or anything, but I'll be hanging out, trying to interview people that have had Bigfoot encounters. If you're from the Oak Ridge, Oregon area or surrounding and you've had a Bigfoot experience, please contact me directly, bigfootsociety@gmail.com. Also, Priscilla was nice enough that if you get your tickets through SasquatchSummerfest.com and use code BigfootSociety, you can get 50% off the cost of your tickets, which is a big amount. So code Bigfoot Society to get 50% off your tickets, SasquatchSummerfest.com, and helps out the podcast as well. A special thank you to all the Bigfoot Society Patreon and YouTube channel members. It's your support that helps keep the show going, and I extremely appreciate it. Here at Bigfoot Society, we're headed to the moon, and here's a current update about going full-time. So here we go. As of 5/22, you're now at 202 patrons out of 824 needed. That's 24.51%, almost a quarter of the way there, guys. Brings us down to 622 left to join the Patreon. So a huge thank you to Barbara, Gregory, Dana, Craig, Jeff, Steve, Ricky D, Norm, Megan, Dan, Daddy Chatty, Joe, Eber, Ike, Jules, Josh, Ryan, Todd, Nathan, Gabe, Bill, Lucky, Megan, William, Bobby Joe, and Inger for joining recently. If you want to join in the fun, you can join over at patreon.com/the Bigfoot Society. I'll see you there. And again, thanks for listening.
Her and I can get on here and we can tell our stories. Maybe there's somebody else out there listening that's too afraid to tell their story. Maybe this will give them the courage to come out and not feel so bad about it. Who cares what anybody thinks? I know what I saw. I know what's out there. That's all I care about.
Please let people know. Please let them know. If you ever see one of these things, you need to tell. Because if you don't, then shame on you. You know? Shame on you.
Wait, there's more. Monster Fest 2 is coming up soon in beautiful Canton, Ohio, and I will be there doing a live podcast. If you've ever wanted to meet Bigfoot Society in person, this is the year to do it. My special guest in the live podcast episode will be Justin from Cryptids of the Corn. You will not want to miss this live episode. And then you can hang out with me at Monster Fest. You can go to smalltownmonsters.com to get your tickets. Pre-sale tickets are $20.50, and tickets at the door will be $25. But kids 12 and under are free. How many places can you go to where kids 12 and under are free? Not many. New this year are the live workshops. I'm excited about this. Extremely excited. How to cast a footprint. How to collect DNA in the woods. Ghost hunting tools 101. How to do research. Also, there's going to be food trucks outside this year, and new guests, new speakers, people you won't. I mean, the coolest thing about last year is that I got to meet people I was not expecting to be there. People like Les Odell, John Hickenbottom, really cool Bigfoot people that I never would have thought that I would have met before, and Seth Breedlove made it happen by making this incredible place for the community to get together. Monster Fest in Canton, Ohio, June 28th through 29th. Guys, do not miss this year. If you missed last year, don't miss this year. Head on over right now to smalltownmonsters.com. I hope to see you there.